All right, I'd like to go ahead and call this work session to order this evening. Is there a motion to accept or modify the agenda?
I move the agenda be accepted as presented.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. Next up, we have the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. Next up this evening, we have reports, and we'll start with board member comments. Ms. Lowe.
I don't have any comments this evening.
Dr. Funk.
No comments, thank you.
Ms. Salins.
It has come to my attention that someone has maliciously created a fake Facebook profile impersonating me. This fraudulent account has posted hateful and inflammatory messages, including content celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. These posts were designed to provoke our community and damage my reputation. They do not reflect my views or values in any way. Because the fake account has me blocked, I was unaware of these posts until I began receiving backlash. I strongly urge anyone who comes across this fake profile or its posts to report them immediately, either to me directly or to law enforcement. My thoughts and prayers are with the Kirk family.
Mr. McFadden.
No comments.
No comments. All right, next up on our reports, we have an ESS update. Mr. John Smith.
Good evening, everyone. That's the one. Do you want to advance to the next slide? I always like to start off with a quote: "Education breeds confidence, confidence breeds hope, hope breeds peace." The next one. So our agenda, opening quote, table of contents. I did include the Devlin Peck report, which is a good report. I think it gives a good synopsis of where education is. They do a nationwide survey every year. Recruiting, hiring, sub-general info, information from August, a snapshot, August absences by school, district budget, what we're working on, retention, and conclusion. There's a lot of information on here. You can obviously read at your own time. A couple I'd like to point out are the first one there, the 51,000 teachers and other educational staff quit their jobs in 2023. That's the highest point since the beginning of the COVID pandemic in April 2022. 44% of public schools started the 23-24 academic year behind a grade level. Over half the teachers say they will leave teaching sooner than originally planned. And then the other key one that really affects us, 44% of public schools posted teaching vacancies in early 2022. So right underneath there, 43% of educator job postings are going unfilled. So it's definitely a problem across education as a whole, not limited to just the schools or even our services. Just jumping into recruiting, we still have a three-phase attack. Ground level, we're handling the in-person job fairs. We have Amy Chanley here who handles those. Social media, we have a social media department that handles postings on things like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and we're still working with online job postings. Localities like Nextdoor that provide us local access, as well as nationwide organizations like Indeed, which is where a majority of our candidates do come from. Just kind of outlining some of the things that we do. Hand out flyers, social media, job boards, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We did start instituting last year, and we've had some success, which we're hoping to double back on, and just increase this year with the college visits. Excuse me. Still doing the in-person job fairs and any recruiting events that come up, and we do have those networking sites like Handshake, Nextdoor, Patch.com, and Canto that allow us access to localities. I say representatives, but sorry, I always mean Amy. Amy's attended the following district Warren events: National Night Out on the 5th, WCPS Community Fun Day on the 9th, Summer Block Party, Career Fair on the 4th of this month, and the Employer Expo on the 11th of this month. I always like to throw this into the beginning of the school year. ESS has a program, the Kickstart program, where we're the only organization I know of that will reimburse the cost of the clearances for our applicants. It's a great way to take that financial responsibility off them. There is a requisite that they have to work 20 of their first 90 available business days, but we've seen a great uptick in people that before had maybe applied or had not applied or not continued the program because of financial costs or concerns. So, just getting to the general info, the district fill rate's at 78.6. After we factor in the building sub coverage, we're looking at an over 99%. So it's been a great way to start the year. Just to give perspective, the national average fill rate is somewhere between 48 and 68%. So we're doing much better just in the basic standard rate. And then after factoring in people like our building subs, we're doing very well here. Since this August, we've hired 11 new staff members for the Warren sub pool. We have another 29, I believe, in process right now. So we always have a big bump at the beginning of the school year, and then it kind of trickles off until about March, where we see another spike in usually our recruiting. Just as a snapshot, 526 absences in August, filled 405 of them. We had 2 late placed, which left us with 121 unfilled. Highest fill rate across the district was Blue Ridge Tech at 100%. Lowest was Skyline Middle at 66%, which gives us an average fill rate of 78.6. And then again, with that adjusted rate, we're at that 99 plus. A breakdown by building, you'll see that, again, if you go into the final 2 columns, the fill rate's there for the buildings prior to the adjustment with the building subs, and then after the building subs. So that's where we came with the average, the 78.6. And then again, if we factor in everything, technically it would be 112%, but we can't exceed 100% because it's mathematically impossible. The difference there would be there are building subs there on days maybe where there isn't an absence. So the building sub would create an overage, which leads us to that plus 100% posted rate. The big one here that we're all concerned with is obviously budget. We have the budget breakdown. We're 1 month in. I provided the budgets. This was the allocation for each school. Then the August, what they were billed for. You'll see we've seen some drops like Ressie Jeffries last year had a huge increase because they had a pneumonia outbreak at the beginning of last year. If you guys remember, we had that kind of rock the 2 schools for that, and I forget the other one for like the first month and a half. I think it was Barber. But you'll see the allocations. Most of the schools are sitting pretty comfortably at 90+% of their substitute and goal. The sole exception would be the SBO, the business office, because they have a unplanned absence that's kind of started off the school year for them. So we'll see that modify and go through. I don't know, I'm sure different funds will be allocated and handled. But overall, we're sitting at a majority of the places are using financially are less than what they have been at this point last year. As far as retention for our subs that are currently active and working with us, we have a newsletter that continues to go out monthly. Mrs. Chanley has put together a Sub of the Week program, recognizing the subs who go above and beyond. Each week she gives out a $50 gift card. We've also incentivized the Tuesday and Friday mailers. Monday and Fridays tend to be our hardest days, so what we try to do is we try to target those 2 days just to kind of prospectively put out what's available in the next 72 hours. We found that when we started sending to the subs, before we just kind of left them to go to the system themselves, this kind of takes people that aren't as computer friendly or don't like to use them. We just send them the jobs in advance, where we see a great increase in the pickups. Since we've done this, we've probably added 3 to 5 different more subs per day, just again within that 72 hours. So it's been a positive that we had used in other districts. What we're working on, we'd like to get the yard signs back up in the community, just again build awareness of the need. We're continuing to develop the relationships with the local colleges for when those student teachers are available, as they become available in the fall. And then those graduating will be available to sub in the spring, as well as those matriculating in the spring will be available towards the end of the school year. And I don't know if it was last week or the week before, we did send backpack flyers home with the students that in an effort to target the parents, the people that are already committed to the buildings and help out. That's where we find a great deal of our subs come from, is that people who already have some sort of tie to the school, they're more likely to pick up or join. Did we have any questions?
Questions? Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Next up this evening, we're moving into our action agenda. So for each item, the community is welcome to come up and speak for 3 minutes, as I call each item just about that particular section of the meeting. So the first up is going to be tennis court repairs at Warren County High School and Skyline High School. Is there anyone from the community who would like to speak? Yep, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Natalie. I have been a teacher in Warren County Public Schools. This is my 27th year, and I've been a citizen of Warren County for about 48 hours. So I just got here. I believe I live in the North River District, but don't quote me on that. I'm still looking at the maps and trying to figure everything out. I've been a tennis coach since the spring of 2007. Before there was a Skyline High School, I coached boys tennis there, and I've coached boys and girls tennis at Skyline since it opened to the present day. I have seen the tennis courts in brand new condition. I've seen them in various different, the various different states that they've been in, and what I'm really here tonight, again, I realize the supervisors control one thing and the school board controls another thing. I'm also a former school board member. If I didn't mention that, my students would think there's something wrong with me didn't mention that. So I understand the different limitations and, all the different the issues the different contingencies and everything that goes along with things. So, but I just really want to say about our program, we had over 20 girls, and they had over 14, 15 boys on the team last year, so about 40 students at Skyline were in the tennis program last year. That's 1 out of 20 kids that are in the building, 5%. So it's not just like, those 3 kids over there, are being disadvantaged. It's a substantial number of students in there. And the one thing I really encourage all the students, we're a no-cut tennis program, meaning we don't cut based on ability, and we let everyone come out. It's a sport that you can take with you to the rest of your life. It's not something that, obviously, when I'm 58, I can't go play football right now, but I can still play tennis. Not as well as my son, sadly. He's surpassed me in ability. But I just hope whatever it is, whatever you can do, please do whatever you can, because it really affects a lot of young people and older people who use the courts of our schools as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? Yep, Coach Brown.
I'm Jeff Brown. I'm a coach on the boys tennis team at Skyline. And the basic thing I wanted to do tonight was just encourage you to use the appropriation that the Board of Supervisors has given you for the tennis courts. If we don't have those tennis courts and have them repaired, we'll go from 19 public courts in the county to 3. And 3 are in bad shape. These are the ones at Chimney Field. About 80 kids do play on the tennis team over the 2 high schools. If, from a logistical standpoint, if you try to have 80 kids using 3 courts to practice, let alone to play matches, it's virtually impossible to do that. Logistically, I just wanted to talk to you. Either they can drive themselves, so that kind of limits you to seniors, mostly seniors, and the others would have to go by van. So somebody has to go get a van, bring it to the school, drive it, bring it back, take it back, and if you're doing that several nights a week, it's going to be tough to do that. Right now, they walk across the parking lot to play tennis, and we've got good, smart kids. They're busy doing other things, and I want them to continue doing their scholastics. And tennis is great, lifetime sport, as John mentioned. The other thing I wanted to mention is that if we can get the repairs done, we are looking at grants for that. There's a 50-50 grant, a conservation grant, and there are numerous other grants that we might be able to, that we hope to, if we have time to do it, to get the funding to put in permanent courts that would last for a long time. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening?
Hello, I'm Luke Natalie. I'm son of John Natalie. I've been on the tennis team. This will be my 4th season upcoming, so I've played my 8th grade, 9th grade, and 10th grade years. I've really enjoyed tennis, meeting a bunch of people that I never knew through, upperclassmen, and they really have, bring upon a positive change in my life. I'm really enjoyed that the Board of Supervisors has given funds to repair the courts, and I really hope that that's what those funds are used for, because the state of the courts, as what the dad had said, I've seen those courts in various different, conditions, and it would be really nice if they got repaired. Playing on them for 4 years now, it would be really nice to get them repaired. I've had a lot of fun. This will definitely be one of my things that as a high schooler I'll look back on as playing a sport. So very, some 80 kids over, 2 high schools, all those kids will look back and they'll say, like, I did this and I accomplished this in this sport. And, I've been playing varsity matches ever since 9th grade, and I've had a lot of fun, playing them. I just really hope that these funds get used for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening. My name's Deborah Ramsey. I'm a volunteer coach at Skyline, so you've seen all of us now. I want to emphasize community and crossing all ages with tennis. I started playing tennis as an 8-year-old. I still play today as a 73-year-old. Not well, but I play. The number of people we have in the community, we have a large population of adults that play on a regular basis. And right now, we're having to go up to Winchester, over to other areas in this area to play. So it's difficult, but my point is, it's community. It's not just for the schools, it's not just for the teams. It's for adults that care, and as you see with Jeff and I, helping to coach, we're trying to keep it going. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else this evening who'd like to speak about the tennis courts? Dr. Martin, is this your item?
Yes, it is. Madam Chairman and the board, as you know, probably the first week I was on the job, I started hearing about tennis courts. And from that point on, I made a visit to Skyline with some other individuals and noticed that that had been closed and that they were in disrepair. At the same time, I thought there needed to be a fix, if not a permanent fix, but we couldn't move forward with any sort of recommendation until we had a geotechnical report done. So you have that report tonight as part of your board packet, and in that report, this particular firm did borings at each of the high schools. Those locations are noted in the report. And probably what you already know is several things. One is there's poor drainage, which has compromised the courts in several places. The other is there was not the level of compaction under the courts that is required to handle the courts, and there wasn't the level of compaction for the asphalt used for the surfacing of the courts. So knowing all of that, and in the report there are several options for the board to consider. So that brings me to August, when I appeared before the Board of Supervisors. And at that time, there were 2 items that I talked with them about. One, as you know, was replacing the carpet in our kindergarten and preschool classrooms with tile, and the other was tennis courts. They appropriated $240,000. $100,000 of that went to tile, and the $140,000 was so designated as a start on the tennis courts. So here we are tonight. I am recommending, as the acting school superintendent, 2 things. One is that you ask the Board of Supervisors for the appropriation of $140,000 to negotiate a short-term or a repair on the courts so the tennis teams can begin their practicing in February. I understand that's when they're going to start practicing. And I also understand today there are many tennis players who are renting spaces to get ahead of the season because they're true athletes. So they're starting to do this, but there's no place to play around here. I realize that this is a short-term fix, and we may have other needs in the school system. But at the same time, I'd like to also suggest that during our process of developing the budget for next year, in the capital improvements plan, there has to be an item of what we're going to do with the tennis courts. I don't know that we can debate that tonight, but certainly my recommendation would be, I think they all have to be dug up, and I think we have to start over. We have to put in proper drainage, and we just can't keep repairing courts over and over again. I realize that $140,000 is an investment, and it's a short-term investment for these kids to play. But I also realize if we don't do that, it could compromise the program. We might be looking at certainly taking kids to other high schools that also have tennis teams and sharing space and renting space and travel time and transportation. And I'm not sure that would be fair for kids. My recommendation is that you seek the appropriation from the Board of Supervisors for a tennis court repair, and know that we will be talking about this more in the upcoming capital improvements plan.
Didn't we receive an estimate for the repairs during one of the facilities?
I'm sorry?
Didn't we receive an estimate for the repairs during one of the facilities?
Initially, it was right around $140,000 because that's what we had, an estimate, probably back in August. Just let me say this. There are many ways, many things I've heard of how we can repair these, including a concrete overlay, and I think we need more time to look at all the options for a permanent fix. This is just a temporary, I don't want to say Band-Aid because that has a negative connotation.
But we know last time they were repaired, it was like a
Correct.
6-month fix, so it is appropriate to say
Yeah.
Band-Aid.
So the options 1 and 2 that are contained within the borings report, those would be the permanent fixes and not the temporary, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So one of the things that I wanted to note, because I know we've talked in the facilities committee many times about the different options that are available and how expensive they would be. But option 2, the full depth reclamation process, I've had the opportunity to speak to 2 different experts in the field who have used this as a redo of the courts and have had great success with it and have said that it's significantly less expensive than some of the things we were looking at. Obviously, we'd have to look and get quotes, so we're not there yet. But I'm hoping that if we can, I'm very grateful that we've had the opportunity to receive this extra money from the Board of Supervisors so we can do the repair so that we don't have to disrupt the tennis season this year. But as we are going through this process, I'm hoping that we are going to be able to work with and negotiate with Shockey in hopes that because this investigative borings have found that they were not installed properly, I think the right thing to do as a reputable contractor, as Shockey is, would be for them to assist in some way, and I hope we could have those conversations. I did speak with our delegate, Bill Wiley, today, and he also works for Shockey, and I requested that he advocate for Warren County Public Schools, and he agreed that he would be willing to advocate for us. Obviously, those conversations still have to be had, but doing the repair now would certainly buy us time. So those are my thoughts on this situation.
Well, I can say to you, I've reached out to Shockey, and we will be scheduling a meeting in the near future.
Wonderful.
So for the 140,000, what would it would just fill in the cracks?
We're filling in the cracks.
So we can
We're going
use-
to make the surfaces playable.
Okay.
Can you walk me through what we anticipate the timeline to be approximately? Like, let's say we approve this tonight, what happens then?
Wow.
Approximately.
That's a wow. So, I don't know, because I haven't talked to the contractor. The other thing that I think I've got to check on this, because these schools were built with the PPEA process, it may allow us to do what's called like an emergency quote rather than going through an extensive quoting process. So we have to do that. And so I don't want to promise anything, but my thought is, if this is approved tonight, prior to the actual appropriations, we will start tomorrow in getting quotes or whatever we have to do. The individual in the county who is very familiar with procurement, we have her on kind of standby to help us walk through this whole process so we do it correctly.
Okay. And then, are we anticipating that these repairs are likely to happen before February?
Absolutely.
Any other questions for Dr. Martin? Is there a motion?
I move that the school board seek an appropriation from the Board of Supervisors to repair the tennis courts at Warren County High School and Skyline High School.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. Next up this evening, we have the E-rate Category 1, dark fiber lease and broadband services. Is there anyone here from the community who'd like to speak on that? Mr. Stefnosky.
Good evening. So tonight, I'm just here to seek some E-rate approval. So for those folks at home or folks over here that are curious about E-rate, it's a federal program for schools and public libraries. It provides discounts on services, so internet access, connections. We've talked about E-rate a bunch of times together. So Warren County Public Schools qualifies for an 80% discount on eligible items. That's up from 70% last year, so that's a positive note. So that means we would have to cover 20% as our local match for that stuff. Generally, we have two categories. Category 1 is for data transmission, internet access. Category 2 is more for all the internal connections. I'm still waiting on approval for that from USAC, so tonight I'm just here to talk about the Category 1. We applied for funding consideration for our broadband services, which is pretty standard, and then a dark fiber lease, which is a new item. So funding for these items was approved by USAC in the amount of $102,081.60, and that means our local contribution would be $25,520.40, and that would come out of existing telecommunication funds or utilities.
Any questions for Mr. Stefnosky? Is there a motion?
I move that approval be given for Warren County Public Schools to accept the Schools and Libraries Program Category 1 funding in the amount of $102,081.60, and that $25,520.40 in local funds be used towards the purchase of broadband services and a dark fiber lease from Shenandoah Cable Television LLC.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Stefnosky. Next up this evening, we have policy IIBEA-R2/GAB-R2 guidelines for employee use of social networking sites. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to speak on this item? Okay. Dr. Costner.
Madam Chair, board members, thank you for this opportunity. Tonight, bring forth, this is the first reading of the policy and the guidelines for employees for use of social networking sites. I do want to let you know that with this policy, we are still looking for some verbiage to add to where, with the board approval, is that deals with parents that, say, for example, if my child was attending Warren County High School and I needed to text her or him that, hey, you know, pick up the milk because we need some more milk for cereal in the morning, that I would not be breaking the policy. So we are looking for verbiage to add to that. And then also, we will also be sending this to our attorney also to make sure that they review it, to make sure we have everything corrected on that. But other than that, is there anything that the board would like to see us to look at or review or add?
On number 3C, on page 2, 3C, and then bullet point 1. Where it says on this, the last line says, any employee-initiated communications must be directly related to a school program or activity. I agree with that. But if you go down a couple more bullet points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, that one ends with the sentence that says, without the knowledge and consent of a minor student, parent, or guardian. So I would propose that it should say something about any employee-initiated communication must be directly related to a school program or activity and must have the consent of the minor student's parent or guardian.
To bullet
In the
number
first
1?
In the first bullet point of 3C.
You want it to mirror that one?
Well, no, well, it has to be in the reverse, because the one is the negative, it says without the parent knowledge,
Right.
so it would say with the knowledge and consent of the minor student's parent and guardian. That's the only suggestion I saw in there.
Okay. Anything else?
One point that I thought of when I was reading this is that all social media sites are not quite the same. Obviously, you've got things like Snapchat where they're disappearing messages. But really with all of them, Snapchat, Facebook, the required age for a child to even be allowed to use those sites is 13. So if we, even with parental consent, are allowing employees to engage with children on those sorts of social media sites under the age of 13, then couldn't we be considered as violating
We need to make sure the
rules
guidelines,
of that?
yes, ma'am. I see what you're saying. We don't want to put a child in jeopardy that as a parent, I say, no, it says you can't use it until you're 14 years old, and I have a 12-year-old softball player that I need to, we do not need to put our children in that situation. And one of the things too that in reviewing different policies, some had actually listed specific things,
Okay.
but because technology is changing faster and AI and everything's growing, I mean, it used to be Twitter. So if we'd had you cannot use Twitter,
Right.
It's not there. I'm using X.
Right.
Well, so that's why some of the things are written. But yes, ma'am. Once the decision is made about this policy, there are certain things and kind of guidelines that we do need to make sure that when we push it out, that our principals share it with the employees and make sure that they are aware. Yes, ma'am.
I think we could do almost like a blanket, like instead of naming each social media site, we could just do a blanket that says that, and it must be in compliance with the age restrictions
On the
given
on
site.
the-
On all the
site,
platforms.
on all platforms, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else for Dr. Costner on this one?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have the third reading of the SBMA updated policies. Is there anyone here to speak on that this evening? Dr. Costner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you know, we have been reviewing the policies that have been submitted by our School Board Policy Committee and SBMA, and this is the third reading of the policies that were submitted by SBMA. Most of them, as it is, that were listed, the changes that were sent by SBMA. We have those within the packet. but are there any questions concerning any of the policies? There was some discussion during the second reading. Ms. Drake, our Director of HR, did check into the things to make sure that we were in compliance with the Virginia law.
So, and I know this was addressed in the memo, but I still have an issue with allowing resignations during open investigations. Can you explain to me again why we can't do that?
I'll be glad if you'd like for Ms. Drake to address and kind of try to explain that. I'll be glad to defer.
All right. So just during some research, there's, and then talking to our school board attorney, one of them, we do have, it is in there in a way. So there's two parts to this. One is under Virginia code, if a teacher, like right now, wanted to resign, investigation or not, we can say no, because we would want to find their replacement, or we can just say no in general because they're under contract. So we still have that ability. There is a gap, however, when the school year is over, because once the school year is over, they have a certain date that they could then resign or say, I'm not coming back, and can leave. So that's Virginia law. Like, we unfortunately can't add to that because that is their right as a licensed professional. We also have, I would caution as well, because what if we want to say yes? There could be an opportunity where we would say, yes, this is probably the best situation. So if we just say no in general, we're taking away our own right and ability to make a decision for maybe that situation. And then there's also, just from talking to our attorney about the Title IX final rule, which is federal law, which says we may, which is important in our discretion, dismiss a formal complaint and then be able to allow that person to resign. So again, that gives us the ability. So we just also wouldn't want to take away our ability to do so. So those were kind of the main points.
So the Title IX part that you just discussed, that we may allow them to resign.
Correct.
So that we then discontinue the investigation.
No, so we can still continue an investigation. However, you wouldn't be able to discipline an employee, let's say if founded, right? You couldn't discipline that employee. However, if founded, we can still go after their license even if they're not employed here. So we would still have action to take. And that is another point. Not everybody is under the same contract. So for example, I could put in my 2 weeks notice, which I'm not. And unfortunately the board, because I'm not licensed, could not tell me no. I mean, you can say no, but that wouldn't stop me from leaving. And so really only our licensed professionals this would impact. So also finding that language to say which contracts, because not everybody's under the same one, would be very challenging to blanket.
Yeah, and I think it should apply to everyone, certainly not just the teachers, but and we've dealt with this in situations before in non-teaching positions. Financial improprieties, things of that nature.
Yeah.
And while, yes, it can work out in our favor that they are no longer with us, we're thereby allowing the victimization of another division. And I can't morally get on board with that.
And I understand that, but again, just as an example, a bus driver or an instructional assistant, like by our contract, they have to give a 2 weeks notice, and that's it. So as long as they provide that, we can't stop them from actually leaving. So to blanket everybody, we just don't have that right unless we changed our contracts, and even then, I don't think that would help. But I understand what you're saying. We don't want to pass a burden on to anybody else while in an active investigation. I don't disagree, but we can still pursue the investigation, and we can still go whatever direction that might take us once we conclude the investigation. So we still have those abilities, but just not having the ability and taking that away, depending on this, I could make up a few situations where maybe it would be in our favor or the employee's favor. And then there's situations I could come up with that wouldn't be in anybody's favor. And so I do, I understand that. But just between federal and state law, I think we're covered pretty well to have the ability in certain positions to have that. But there's some that we don't.
Any additional questions for Ms. Drake or Dr. Costner? Is there a motion?
I move that the Warren County School Board approves the SBMA updated policies as presented.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
No.
Next up this evening, we have part-time American Sign Language, ASL interpreter. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak on that this evening? Ms. Drake.
All right, so I am proposing that we add a part-time American Sign Language interpreter position to Warren County Public Schools. This was not a budgeted position for part-time. We did not budget this. What has happened is we have students that need this service. It would be fiscally more responsible of us to hire a part-time employee. It's already on our timesheet. We already have a job description for full-time, which can be converted over to post the position. It's no more than 30 hours, so it would not be a full-time position. The current need is 3 hours, 5 days a week, so we're only hitting 15 hours. We do have some people just in conversation that are qualified that we've reached out to be able to bring this into Warren County Public Schools to have.
Any questions for Ms. Drake?
I have a question, and I'm not sure if you're the right person to ask this to or not, but do you know how is it that we would need a sign language interpreter only 3 hours out of the day? Like, it seems like we would need it all day. Like, I don't get it. Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Janelle?
Yes.
I can shed a little bit of light. The need is based on the services for the individual child. So without, we are talking about like very confidential things. So I'm going to try to speak very broadly. So special education services are designed to meet the individual need of the student and the time that that student needs that service. It could be that is the time of day that they are present at school. It could be a variety of different reasons, but we've currently determined that the need that we have is for a 3-hour period, 5 days a week. That may change in the future, but right now at present, that's where the need is.
Thank you. Yeah. Any additional questions for Ms. Drake? Is there a motion?
I move that approval be given for the Warren County Public Schools to hire for a part-time ASL interpreter.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, no. Thank you. We're moving into our work session this evening. We have implementation of land lab programs within the middle school and high school educational programs. I have Dr. Costner on the list again and Ms. Bragg. And lots of guests, I think.
Well, first, good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a very special and unique kind of kickoff presentation. If you can kind of give us a little leeway, I hope we won't get in trouble with Robert's rules. So we do apologize for that if we do. But tonight we have our Warren County Middle School FFA. They have a very special presentation, some information they'd like to share. And then our Skyline High School FFA has something that they would like to share that could expand across the entire county. And Ms. Bragg and I will be kind of discussing it, kind of wrapping things up at the end. So I'm kind of setting the stage for it. Each group kind of knows they got a little bit of a time limit, but they, this time, Warren County Middle School.
This is the national chapter, what the kids wrote. It's a 26-page document.
that they spent months writing, so if you guys wanted to look it over and read over it.
Sorry. Hello, my name is Bella Kaplan and I am an 8th grader and sentinel of the Warren County Middle School FFA chapter. This is my 3rd year as an officer and FFA member. On behalf of our members, thank you for allowing us to share some of the exciting things happening in our chapter. This year has been one of tremendous growth for the Warren County Middle School Agriculture and FFA. We are proud to share that our chapter earned the National FFA Chapter 3-Star Gold Rating Award, the highest rating a chapter can achieve. This rating award recognizes our leadership, hard work, and dedication to making a positive impact in our school and community. Inside the classroom, agriculture has come alive for us. We grow a vegetable garden as part of our land lab, hatch baby chicks, and now care for 3 classroom rabbits. These animals not only teach us responsibility, but provide comfort for our students. Through our Adopt a Bunny program, members have taken home rabbits to raise. I personally care for Hazel, a Flemish Giant, and Coco, a Mini Rex. So far, we have placed over 10 rabbits in new homes. We are looking forward to expanding our land lab. Wellness has been another focus. Through Strikeout Stress, members and families have spent time bowling together, encouraging both physical activity and mental health. Community service has also been central to our work. We go apple gleaning at the local orchard with the county FFA chapters to collect apples for local food bank. Last year, we gathered over 500 pounds of apples for those in need. WCMS FFA collected personal care items for the Hurricane Helene flood victims, our local CCAP, and our school students. Our makers workshops such as succulent pumpkins and wreath making give members a chance to learn new skills while engaging with the community. On National Hot Chocolate Day, we celebrate agriculture by delivering fresh hot chocolate with local milk to every staff member, along with fun dairy facts. We have also experienced agriculture careers and advocacy. Partnering with Signal Non-Middle School, we attended the Virginia State Fair and the Virginia Tech Middle School Leadership Conference. We visited Virginia State University and Virginia Tech to tour greenhouses, aquaponic setups, and livestock facilities. Through Virginia FFA Leadership Training Program, we advocate for agriculture. We then meet state delegates and senators at the Virginia State Capitol, sharing how agriculture impacts our lives and our futures. Our chapter also started the Smart Start tutoring program, where we help 6th graders with core subjects, building confidence and grades. In our ag mechanics shop, we prioritize safety through our Safety is No Accident program, where students must score 100% on their safety test before using tools. Recruitment is also important to us. Our countywide Join the Herd tailgate brought families together at Skyline High School for food, games, and information about FFA. Looking ahead, we invite you to join us at our Vera Bradley Bingo fundraiser on October 10th at Skyline High School, where proceeds support FFA programs across the county. We are growing support through the Warren County FFA Supporters and Alumni, a group we launched last year to connect parents, alumni, and community members. We are excited to host the WCMS Staff Appreciation Breakfast this Friday with our school Sunshine Committee to thank the educators who make our success possible. I would like to introduce Ms. Lynn Phillips, our ag teacher and FFA advisor, to tell you about our National Chapter Award.
Hello, I am Lynn Phillips, Warren County Middle School's ag teacher and FFA advisor. This is the start of my 3rd year of teaching. I am excited to share with you all of the great things our amazing students are achieving. This was one of the programs that we did, which was the Virginia Tech Grow Your Own program. We partner with other middle schools in the area, including Skyline Middle, Signal Non-Middle, North Fork, to be able to offer opportunities for our students, and this happens to be one of them. This was at Virginia Tech. We also did Virginia State University. They get to learn about careers and the possibilities of what's in their future. We also just came from chapter officer leadership training. We were in Strasburg with about 150 other kids, learning about being an officer and leading our group. Our biggest highlight from last school year was sending 5 members to National FFA Convention in Indianapolis in October, where students attended workshops, explored careers, and celebrated other chapters. This gave our members the motivation to write the entire 26-page national chapter application themselves, setting SMART goals and following the National FFA rubric to show measurable success. One of our other activities was apple gleaning. We do this with all 4 chapters here in the county, and a local orchard allows us to come and pick up apples off the ground. We then donate those to a local food bank to help others in need. We are thrilled to return this year to receive the National FFA Chapter Award on stage. The National Chapter Award Program recognizes FFA chapters that actively live out the organization's mission, growing leaders, building communities, and strengthening agriculture. To earn this award, chapters must meet strict standards outlined in the National Quality Chapter Standards and complete a program of activities. We call those POAs. So this right here you're seeing on the screen is one of our POAs. At least 15 high-impact events spanning leadership development, community service, and agricultural advancement. We leaned on WCMS teachers and staff to help edit our application to make it the best it could be. After advancing from the state level with gold, WCMS FFA was awarded the 3-star rating from National FFA this summer, placing us among the top FFA chapters in the nation. This is the first time in Warren County history that any FFA chapter has received this honor. We are over the moon at this award and looking forward to the future. The 3-star gold rating is not only the highest recognition available, but also places us as one of the top chapters in the nation. This award reflects outstanding chapter operations, innovative student-led projects, and a dedication to providing meaningful learning experiences for every member. And I'll run through these really quickly so you can see this. Staff appreciation breakfast, the kids put it on themselves. Friday, they're going to be making pancakes and sausage for the teachers. There we go. Wreaths Across America. The kids, this is one of their community service projects. We lay wreaths for veterans' graves. And that's one we do in Strasburg because we hadn't had one here locally. We're hoping that we can get one here locally in Front Royal. The Reaching Out Now holiday dinner, they volunteered to help out with students who are in need, and it was pretty amazing to have the kids take care of that. We partnered with the Master Gardeners here in Front Royal. They gave us supplies and helped us put in 2 more vegetable beds in our outdoor land lab. This was one of our National FFA Convention leadership workshops, and we've expanded our program with us. The bunnies in our classroom help support the students, not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom, and one of those is showing rabbits at the county fair. In January, the kids get to go to the state capitol and advocate for agriculture, meeting with people who make very important decisions. And so they get to spend the day meeting with different representatives, not only from our area, but other areas that might not be covered by some of our FFA chapters. And the first year, 2 years ago when we did this, there was 400 students there. Last year there were 700. This year we're hoping for over 1,000 members to show up to the Capitol for FFA Day. Another picture from our FFA convention, which happens in June. The students compete in a career development event. This was them before the event this year, and this is them after winning their ribbons. They practice just like a team would practice a sport. We spend months working on our projects and on our SAEs, which is our supervised agricultural experience, and hopefully that will lead to this, which is Lucas Weber, who was in one of the first classes at Warren County Middle School when we moved to the new middle school, and he received last October the highest honor that a student can receive, which was the American FFA degree. It takes $10,000 to earn and many hours, and you have to accumulate this over many years. So these students started in their 6th grade year and will take this into their high school. So thank you all very much, and I will hear next.
Hello, my name is Alice Engler.
I'm an 8th grader and WCMS Vice President. To attend the national convention, we've been fundraising through meat stick and lollipop sales, working at WCMS concessions, filled the FFA jacket fundraiser, and seeking local sponsorship. As you can see, this has been a very busy and exciting year for Warren County Middle School FFA chapter. We are learning, serving, and leading in ways that prepare us for the future. On behalf of our chapter, thank you for supporting us and believing in the importance of agriculture education. With your encouragement, we know the best is yet to come.
If you guys have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them, but thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Skyline High School that would like to present to you a proposal to start a land lab. They do have a flyer that I will hand out to them. And I'll turn the floor over to you. Let me hand this out. I'll get out of your way. Right.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board, and thank you so much this evening for listening to our proposal about putting in a land lab at Skyline High School and its other places across the county. So just kind of a brief history about ag in Warren County. When I went to Skyline High School in 2007 to 2011, none of this existed. There was no ag classes, there was no FFA programs, and it really was a lack of opportunity, especially for someone like myself who wanted to pursue an agricultural career. We had to go other places to get the opportunities like the WCMS kids have and my two boys here behind me have through these FFA programs. But between community members and different ones in the community like the Chamber of Commerce, the Warren County Farm Bureau Board, they began the conversations with then school board officials and so forth that could put ag classes back in Warren County Public Schools. And they were successful with the help of Jane Baker, the current CTE director at that time, and so forth. But it was the lack of those opportunities that led me to my higher education. I had to work extra hard to build the relationships, do some networking that could have been done in high school if those opportunities had been available. But thankfully now they are, and things are up and running and doing great, as you can see. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Drew, who is our vice president at this time.
Hello. In 2016, the agricultural programs began with one teacher split between Skyline High School and Warren County High School. Now each high school and the middle school have at least one agriculture teacher, with Skyline High School now having 2 full-time agriculture teachers. Hundreds of students have joined the agricultural programs and FFA chapters across the county, with lots of them moving on to learn the local, regional, state, and now the national recognition. Agricultural classes continue to gain traction, fill to capacity, and many times move on to have a wait list. Warren County's agriculture education programs have come a long way just within the last 10 years, now that they have been introduced, and we hope to continue that growth. One way for us to foster that growth is to have what is called a land lab. For those that do not know, a land lab is a set acreage, forested or pastured, for the purpose of hands-on learning opportunities for agricultural students. And the modalities of which exist include, but are not, to small farms, soil pits, large crop plots, and more. Land labs exist to increase and further encourage hands-on learning opportunities for students, and therefore increase student engagement tactics, all while meeting the station competencies for our agricultural courses. I have been a member of the FFA for 6 years, and during that time, it has helped me to decide what I want to do after I graduate from high school. Through FFA, I have been able to compete in many contests, including the dairyman, stockman, livestock judging, the vet science, and small animal care. I have also participated in the Brock and Bridle meat judging competitions, and even public speaking competitions. Participating in these competitions and events has given me the opportunity to attend the state convention, the state fair, as well as travel to other areas in Virginia. These experiences show me that I would love to attend college and earn a degree in livestock management. Competing at this level has given me the confidence, skills, and the leadership opportunities and strengthened my interest in agriculture. Thank you.
I'm Bobby Ford, president of the Skyline FFA chapter. FFA has helped shape me into the person I am today, giving me leadership qualities and a sense of responsibility I would otherwise not possess. I started my FFA adventure back in 6th grade with an amazing teacher, Mrs. Roy. She taught me the basics of agriculture and all about the FFA organization. I was instantly hooked. Although I could not do much my first year in FFA due to COVID-19 restrictions, I still managed to get perfect attendance and participated in all of the activities within the chapter. In 7th grade, my friend convinced me to show livestock at the local county fair for 4-H. I was all in, except there was one problem at hand. Where would I keep the livestock? You see, I live in a subdivision and our property is zoned residential. This led me to engage other stakeholders in the community and ask if I, a boy who knew next to nothing, could keep his animals on their property. Thankfully, I found a kind-hearted family who believed in me. 4 years later, and this was the best decision of my life. I have met hundreds of people in this wonderful industry due to this decision, which led me to not only compete at the county fair, but also at the State Fair of Virginia and many jackpot shows across the state. I have also competed in livestock judging contests with the Skyline FFA chapter. I have gone from knowing nothing to consistently placing towards the top at the livestock contests I compete in, and have decided I want to further my education in college, pursuing a degree in animal and poultry sciences and a minor in agribusiness. This land lab would allow other kids who do not yet know of this passion to uncover it and run with it, all while getting hands-on experience and gaining a sense of responsibility. Many of the students that are enrolled in agriculture courses do not have traditional farming and/or agricultural exposure, meaning that they didn't grow up on a farm or have access to farmland. This creates a challenge because the students that are currently enrolled in the animal systems pathway also do not have access to facilities that would allow them to handle livestock animals on campus. Other than the brief moments in the semester that are offered an opportunity to bottle raise a goat or hatch chicks. With continued student interest and exponential program growth, we would like to be able to offer students the opportunity to work with, care for, and raise animals on campus. This would benefit the students at all 4 schools, but also present an opportunity to positively impact the local community. We have more students becoming active at the Warren County Fair by showing livestock and small animals, starting their own businesses, and seeking professional opportunities as a result of their agricultural and FFA involvement.
Thank you, Bobby. As you can see by the numbers here presented, our participation in the Warren County Fair has grown just like our interest in the program. The next several slides are pictures of FFA members from across the county showing and exhibiting their projects at the fair. So right now at SHS, we're teaching 2 agricultural pathways. We have the plant systems pathway and the animal systems pathway. The plant systems pathway kids have the greenhouse that they can utilize at that time to do, like we're doing this week, mum sales. They raise poinsettias. My Ag Concepts kids have just recently started their own garden tubs in the greenhouse where they're raising some pumpkins and flowers and so forth in old livestock mineral tubs. I know Dr. Pence knows what I'm talking about, that we are using there. But on the animal side of things, we don't really have the resources and the facilities to be able to do a whole lot of these things. The class does have a class rabbit. We have hatched some eggs successfully this fall. And once upon a time, Miss Buckland had a bottle goat that she brought in for them to help feed. But a land lab would really enhance the student experiences. A land lab at SHS will allow students to continue to grow in their agricultural education experience. It will allow increased student opportunities to exhibit leadership and responsibility through the FFA motto: learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, and living to serve. We learn to do these kind of things in class through what Ms. Buckland and I and the other FFA teachers in the county or ag teachers show the kids and show them how to do. But if they do it, they learn it. And the responsibility, the leadership that they can gain from the use of these facilities would be astronomical. Also, earning to live. I know that when I was in the 4-H program and other folks that have put themselves through college and started their careers based on these projects that they did in 4-H and FFA programs. This would offer more opportunities for high school quality-based work learning, which goes back to the school's report card and so forth that we have to look at. Also, immersion SAE projects. SAE is supervised agricultural experience, where the kids are supervised and they get these hands-on learning experiences. Also, community engagement and partnerships serve a vital role within our programs. We would carry out increased participation in the Warren County Fair, and community stakeholders will take action to see this project through. We have had several people come forward who have heard about this idea, who have said, hey, we would really like to contribute in a pretty significant way if we're allowed to do so. Active student engagement also serves an important role within not only the agriculture classroom, but all classrooms throughout any school setting. Working with students to actively get them involved in their learning, and there's not a much better way to do that than to act for them to see something grow and to see something mature in this way. There are lots of other schools up and down the valley who have land labs, and the competencies in the classwork that we're teaching, animal handling and raising livestock is part of those competencies that we are supposed to be teaching. A couple of challenges that do face us at Skyline High School for this is location of water. We need to get water across the driveway and the parking lot over to the side where the greenhouse is, and the possible place where we would like to put our land lab. And also a timeline is a bit of a constraint because the Warren County Education Endowment Grant closes tomorrow, so we're kind of, it's a little bit of a time crunch. But I think with those two things noted, those are the main constraints or challenges that face us, and we can overcome those things. So thank you very much for your time, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Meadows to talk about Warren County High School.
Hello, I'm Lee Meadows. I'm the ag teacher at Warren County High School. And unfortunately, Warren County High School is a little more landlocked than Skyline High School. And so we are limited in what we can offer unless someone wants to give up a practice field. And if you want to start a real controversy in Warren County, start talking about giving up a practice field or a football field. So we are hoping that the land lab moves forward and it's on a smaller scale for us with a greenhouse and poultry. We have basically marked out an area that we could have that at Warren County High School. But to have goats, sheep, cattle, anything larger, we would need to partner with Skyline High School. And I know my administration and county administration wants to make sure that our plan is equitable and that we're offering opportunity to all students in the county. And I think that this is a wonderful way to do that. We do have a real opportunity by having a land lab and building the programs so that students have those opportunities. In the past, we've had to get really creative. Since I haven't had a greenhouse at Warren County High School, we have raised garden beds, but they don't get the same experience of growing plants and finishing them in a greenhouse, growing in the winter, learning about light and all of that in a real classroom hands-on situation. And we have been creative. We've had students go to Skyline to get those advanced level classes that they've needed and wanted to be able to complete their pathways and get those extra seals on their diplomas when they graduate. And so I see this as a wonderful opportunity for us to partner and make sure that we're meeting the needs and the interests of our students and preparing them for 21st century jobs. I think a lot of people talk about ag and they don't realize the breadth of agriculture. It is STEM, it is science, technology, engineering, math, it is all of that. And the kids really learn those skills in these hands-on laboratories. All right, and now I'm going to let Ms. Phillips come up and talk about the Skyline plan. Excuse me, Warren County.
We are members of the Warren County Middle School FFA, and we are here tonight to ask you for your support in expanding our land lab to include live animals. I am Bella Kaplan, starting my 3rd year of FFA at Warren County Middle School as a FFA Sentinel. Right now, our land lab is mainly focused on plants. That's important, but agriculture is both plants and animals. With your approval, we would like to begin raising laying hens, goats, and rabbits at our school. Thanks to a $3,000 grant from Rockingham Cooperative, we already have funding to build a mobile chicken coop. We also have a detailed plan in place for animal care, seasonal management, and predator protection to make sure our animals stay safe and healthy. This project will give students hands-on opportunities to learn responsibility and leadership. Every day, students will help feed, water, and care for the animals. It will also connect directly to what we learned in class: science, math, engineering, and environmental studies. For example, we can track egg production in math, study animal biology and science, and learn about composting and sustainability environmental studies.
I am Dakota Sacheski, 7th grader at Warren County Middle School, FFA member. We know you might have concerns about waste, safety, or supervision. We want you to know we've planned for all of those. Our design includes composting to manage waste, predator-proof fencing, and staff and approved volunteers to make sure animals are cared for even on weekends and breaks.
Other schools in Virginia already have land labs with animals and greenhouses, and they've been very successful, such as Charlottesville High School in the middle of Charlottesville, with half an acre of land with production plant beds, small fruit orchard, outdoor classroom, chicken coop, and post-production harvesting facilities. In Fauquier County, they have been offering outdoor land lab opportunities and experiences for decades, as I am a result of that Ag and FFA program. We believe Warren County students deserve the same chance to learn these important life and career skills.
On behalf of our FFA chapter, we respectfully ask for your approval to expand the land lab. With your support, we can build something that benefits not only agriculture students, but our whole school and community. Thank you for your time.
And not to leave Skyline Middle out, they are also another school that is pretty much landlocked. They don't really have an area for the larger animals. They are looking at ways that they could incorporate poultry on campus, but they don't have a written plan at this time. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yep. I think this bag is for them or from?
For that.
We have a question for the ag teachers or ag group.
Did you have a parcel of land in mind, or are you looking for one? Is this going to be on school property or off of school property?
You're talking all three of us?
Right, yeah. Our board had received a very generous offer in January of a 100-acre farm to be used by the FFA for exactly this purpose, and I wasn't sure if that was what you had in mind. It's in the Fork District, so it's not very far from Skyline High School.
We were completely unaware of that. Yes.
Oh.
So we are completely unaware. It's very generous. Thank you. We can talk more about that. I think that's
Yeah, that's the first that I've heard of that, but.
I just forwarded you the email, Dr. Martin, from January. So
Just now?
Just now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that you guys weren't made aware of that offer.
I might be able to speak a little bit to that.
Okay.
But go ahead and ask your question, and I'll circle back around.
That was my only question, is if you had a parcel in mind. I didn't know if that was.
We do. So if
Oh,
you
okay,
talk about
okay.
the greater-
So at Skyline, if you know where the greenhouse is, if you're facing the building over to the left, there is a wooded area there, but up in the woods, there is a pretty nice clearing that we were looking at putting the facility that would be still accessible to the students and on campus, and within the limit or within the boundaries of the grounds and so forth.
So ours, we have an outdoor classroom, and we've been using that area to exercise the rabbits and chicks, and they are there temporarily right now. We actually just hatched some chicks. There's 5. Hopefully to have more hatching in October. And so that area is where we're looking at, and with our approval from Dr. Johnston, that's what we're trying to do. Okay.
And Mr. Knish and I kind of put our heads together and we walked the property, and we are shaving off a portion of a practice field. We went out and got the 200-yard tape measure, and it's a 40 by 200 foot area that would be set aside for poultry runs, and it would not interfere with the practice field at all. They still had an additional 40 feet before they got to the striped lines for the football field, and it's within a fenced area. And it also has an area that we could potentially put a greenhouse on without impeding traffic or any of the practice. So. Any other questions?
Thank you, guys.
So I certainly want to thank our FFA members that spoke this evening and our teachers of our agriculture classes at the middles and high schools. So the South River Farm land discussion. The science coordinator at the division did have an initial meeting in the spring with the owner of that land, and has been in touch. At the time, it sounded like that, and I'm not overly familiar with all the projects that are being undertaken at that land, but it sounded like there was also like a public camping
There is, according to this.
section also happening, and they were kind of, I think, leaning into that initially. So there's been initial contact about the possibility of, what may be able to happen with that parcel of land and how we might be able to utilize that through like a joint venture kind of thing with our students here in the county. But it sounded like there was quite a bit of work that had to be done in leading up to what that would actually look like for our students to be able to participate. At this point, I'm not sure, I don't think there's animals currently. They were kind of looking for input from us, on how this would even work with, the private partnership, with the partnership with the schools, but also with their public access happening kind of simultaneously, that sort of thing. So there were some things we were working on there. The last communication that I'm aware of was in May, and they were working on, doing some bookings and some things like that going live at their other ventures. And so we can certainly, follow back up. But that's sort of in the works. And in the meantime, several opportunities, including the chicken coop grant at Warren County Middle School and Skyline High School has presented, some information on having their local land lab on school grounds. The conversation's been sort of ongoing. It came up last year as well. So instructionally, the Land Lab offers an immersive, hands-on environment that, is hard to repeat inside of a classroom without those animals. And I think you've heard this evening from the students and from the teachers the advantages of being able to have access to those animals. Engaging in real world animal science, students develop, all of those 5 C's that the VDOE is oftentimes part of our, accountability and the things that they're moving towards, such as critical thinking and problem solving, collaboration, citizenship, and responsibility. The Animal Lab prepares students for industry-recognized certifications and post-secondary pathways in careers such as veterinary science, animal production, and agribusiness. And our high school members even mentioned those as potential fields that they're looking to pursue at the college level. The CTE coursework and the pathways have become a heavily focused on area as part of that new accountability system that we've been over. There's still a lot of navigation of that, but being able to offer things like a series of courses that lead students to be a completer in CTE is an important part of that accountability piece in the 3E readiness framework. That's part of our high school accountability, alongside those like industry certification tests that they can take, and having access to animals and small animals to be able to do work-based learning opportunities is potentially another aspect of having the small animals as part of the land lab. I liked to hear what our FFA members had to say about those cross-curricular connections. We know that that's really important. We've had a focus on science now for some years, and the ability to be able to do cross-curricular work and kind of make that science from the biology classroom especially real to the animals that are in our high schools and in our middle schools would be an important part of those cross-curricular opportunities that we could involve. As one of the teachers said, it is a STEM class. It does have the science, the technology, the engineering, and the math as part of it. So being able to offer those opportunities, hands-on would be certainly an active student engagement strategy that gets kids excited about learning and makes that learning feel more real than oftentimes what happens just, kind of in the environment of a classroom. One of the courses that has been mentioned that we would potentially be looking at adding is a livestock production management course. That course we currently do not offer. If we did offer that course, it would allow for another opportunity to kind of get to that tier, I'll call it tier 3, that's my language, not the state's, but kind of like that opportunity of that 3rd year class. That's an upper level class for 11th and 12th graders who've already completed some of those introductory courses and things like that to be able to pursue an even more in-depth agricultural mechanics side of the agricultural coursework. Any questions regarding instruction or accountability?
So how do we get this going? Do we just have to set it
I'll
for
turn that over to my
agenda?
capable colleague.
We're working through it, I know. And first, just to say up front, again, awesome. Congratulations on everything you're doing. That's phenomenal. I appreciate the administration supporting them in that. Just to let you know a little bit of the logistics, Warren County Middle School is within the city. Okay, so therefore, we have talked to zoning. There are certain things that they can and cannot have. They are very fortunate to have a grant to get the chicken coop. They're only allowed a certain number of chickens, and it will be inspected. But that's part of the agricultural world. You have to get used to that. They have a game plan in place that if they get visited by a fox, so there's those kinds of things. The same thing with at Skyline High School. They've got the piece of land picked out. Do we need to figure out how we can get water and electricity to it? Yes, it's very important. So these are things that there's a plan in place. I wanted to share that with you before, just to let you all know moving forward, because everybody wants it. We want a bright, beautiful red barn built tomorrow that can handle it. I know they do, but we also know it's not the realistic thing, because one of the challenges is going to be funding. The Warren County Middle School has done a great job at getting a grant to be able to get the chicken coop to come in. So, they'll be able to move forward with that. I know the administrators and Dr. Martin are talking about budget season, so there may be some budget requests for that. The thing is, there's not a lot of money there, but there are a lot of wonderful people in the community that might be willing to help. So to get to, before we get to your question, Ms. Alens, do you have any questions for me on logistics? Now, and on the maintenance side, and I just want to help, Brian has enough to support his. He's not on fence mending and all that kind of stuff. He'd probably be glad to come help. But our maintenance crew, with as short staffed as we are, can only handle so much. So it won't. They've assured us, FFA and all of them have told us, the teachers, they'll take care of all those things. And so, which is, again, that's the world of agriculture. When you're a farmer, you don't work a 9-to-5 job. So, but anyway, questions for me? I'm sorry.
Could the construction tech kids and the electrician classes, could those
That could
help
all
do these types of
possibility of a
projects?
learning thing for them, that they could do that. It would have to be that. We'd have to make sure we have a licensed electrician that would oversee it and be there.
Right.
And you have to go through, but again, it was the same thing if we have to get full permits. Oh, and I forgot to also, Skyline High School is agricultural zone. So to have the larger animals, they can do that without any issues because they are in the county. So there's a difference for zoning in the county within the city. We have checked into that. I'm sorry, I didn't include that. So to get to your question, what everybody sitting out here wants to know is, do they have your blessing to move forward with pursuing grants, pursuing people to move forward to, and it'll take time, but to be able to get a land lab going at Warren County Middle School and begin the looking to see what they need to do at Skyline High School.
I would say yes. I think that's a really impressive proposal that you all put together. You've covered all the bases. The FFA program does so much for the students, not just the farming skills, but like you all were saying, the science, math, technology, the soft skills, public speaking. All the FFA students I've spoken with, look you in the eye. They're very calm and collected. They're confident. It's just such a great program. So very impressive. And I'm in favor.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, this was really good.
Obviously, I am too.
We're really fortunate to have that.
Do we have to take an official vote?
Wow.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Should we take the official vote?
I mean, it was a work session item. Are you looking for specifics tonight? I know you had it not as an action item, you had it as a
Just
work
your
session.
endorsement to move
Yeah,
forward.
right.
We're going to do the funding.
Because you'll bring back each
Yeah,
thing
yep.
as you're getting it.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah, that's perfect. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.
And certainly, all the students are welcome to leave at this point if you. Thank you for coming and joining us and sharing with us.
There's one more thing on the agenda. Sorry.
We have one more thing.
Yeah. Her Zoom closed, that's why she had to repin it.
What?
We have one more thing on the
Oh,
agenda.
I know, but.
No, but the Zoom closed. She had to reload.
I see.
Do we since this is listed as 6:30, do we go ahead?
No, they know that we'll be whenever.
It's okay.
Yeah, they know.
It won't be.
Yeah.
minutes.
Dr. Costner, our next item is going to be the review of facility use fees and first reading of KG-E regulations for use of facilities.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. In our building committee, we've discussed the use of facilities, and we've had a good open discussion about it, and it has been requested that we look at our use of facilities for the fees that what we charge in county versus people from out of county wanting to use our facilities. So what we have in front of you with your approval, there's a fee sheet. We just put it on there late. This did come up late, so if you do not have a copy of that, I'll be glad to give you a copy of the fee sheet if you would like to see it. I know it is available online now, but it did come on late. What I can tell you what was done is, as you can see, the in-county fee, and then there's an out-of-county fee. The out-of-county fee is twice what the in-county fee is. The in-county fees were not changed. They've been the same for quite a few years, but there's no change to that. It's just if, for example, if some organization outside of our county wants to utilize our facilities, there is an increase in their fee. And with your approval, those that have already signed up, this will not affect, but moving forward, it would affect any of those that are without a county.
Did you review some other counties? I mean, coming up with the double, was that the common standard practice?
Well, we didn't find many without a county. The fees,
Danny's on 1 and 2, and I'll do 3 and 4.
Sorry.
that's okay, I will still do question 1 and 2 for you guys. It's okay. No, sir, we compared the fees and looked across. I mean, we are very economical.
Okay.
And so that's why we felt that just to double the fee would be, it's still comparable to other areas, the double fee is, but yes, sir.
Great, thank you.
What would be in the policy, the number 3, for the priorities and authorization from the highest to lowest, and it starts with school groups first, and then B is school-related groups, then county government agencies, followed by civic groups, church groups, political groups, and other nonprofit groups. Would school-related groups, would that be strictly public school? Or?
Yes, ma'am. It would be kind of like for example, what we just have here would, if FFA wanted to hold a banquet and they wanted to utilize the cafeteria and auditorium, then they would have first choice over that, say if some other group wanted to come in and to utilize it. And that kind of goes down with, and I'll go through the policy, so, because I know it is brand new right in front of you today, and I know it's first reading, and so if you have suggestions, we'll be glad to. But I wanted to bring it to you. But so, yes, ma'am, those groups, and as it says in number 4, Warren County Public Schools must have free access to all facilities at all times. I mean, they get it up front.
Yeah,
and
obviously.
So we are looking at and I'll go through each line item with the policy, just so that you'll see what we're talking about. Number 8, we are wanting 14 business days in advance. It helps because now with our facilities, we have to have an event manager. We may have to have an AV tech. We have to have custodians. There's a lot of moving parts that we have to pull together. And let me back up and say we are implementing an online program for them to be able to come in and use our facilities, to rent our facilities, so anybody can go online and do it. It'll help streamline it. It'll also help with, it's called Arbiter, that's what we're using. And that will also help with the creating of the invoices and the, being able to have better documentation so that you as board can find out in January how much our facilities are actually being utilized. The other one, line item number 9, we have always required the liability certificate, but we want to make sure we get it with the submission of application so that we have all of our paperwork turned in. Number 14, when this was written, it says consumption of soft drinks. Well, we kind of changed it to food and drinks that shall be permitted in certain areas. That's the reason that was redlined. Going over to the next page. Number 18, it originally said that they could be, the group should not be permitted to remain after midnight. Well, and for a facility to be rented, one of the things that we have to have is our employees are working. We have our custodial staff working. They normally work an hour afterwards because they got to get things cleaned up and ready for the next day. So that's our custodial that we're with HES right now. They are not in favor of their employees working that late, and that's just for their safety, and it's for the safety of our employees. So that's why we've got it Monday through Friday, it's 9 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, it's 10 p.m. So that's why that's written there. We are no longer taking, going down to 22, we're no longer taking deposit. We're asking people to pay up front so that we have all the funding up front. So that's why that one was changed. And we are asking it to be paid 2 weeks prior to the event. Because if they don't and they want to back out, there may be another organization that would like to utilize the facilities. And then number 25, it says the Warren County School Board through the superintendent, and it had or her designee. We're just going to strike through that because we're not sure if we're going to who will be sitting in the seat as superintendent, so it'll just be that person's designee. So that's why those are there. And I know if you look at it and have some other suggestions, the second reading, we'll be glad to look at that. But we're requested to review it and bring it forward. So is there any questions about the fees or the policy?
Is there a contract they sign, whoever the group is, they sign a contract that we have with them?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do have that contract.
In that, is it stated whether their event can get canceled and how refunds would work?
Well, wasn't in the policy, and that's a good question, because we had a discussion about that, because normally what we try to do is we try to work that if an organization needs to cancel, say for example, inclement weather, then we try to help reschedule it. There is nothing that's set as a refund, but that's a good question. If you feel we need to make sure we add that to the policy, we can.
Well, whether it's in the contract or obviously the policy is the policy. The contract would be the thing that they're agreeing to. Because another thing I think I've heard from some people is that we canceled their event because we needed the space for something, and because they were down the list, they got knocked out. And so they should know that that's a possibility that could happen. I don't know, again, whether it's in the contract or not. Maybe it's somewhere to do in the listing of all the levels of where you are. It's like, well, depending where you are, because based on rule number 1 that we always have first dibs on it.
Yes, sir.
Even if one of our things is canceled, we have to reschedule. When we started did this with the Bing, we're saying, well, sorry, if we have to reschedule, it's our park.
Right.
So somewhere in there notified. I've heard from different groups that have wondered why their event got canceled of some sort.
Okay.
And they seem confused about it, so however it can be worded would be a good thing.
Well, yes, sir. We'll work on getting that cleared up.
Thank you.
And then if we could clarify where in number 3, where do private school groups, homeschool groups, where exactly do they fall in the list? Obviously, public school students always come first, but the categories that are listed, it's not really super clear. Like, would they be a school-related group? Because, obviously, that we're still providing for education of children.
They could be called education-related group.
Right.
theoretically.
Or create additional categories to put that in there, or?
We can look and see, and I can try to look and see what other organizations have done.
Okay.
As I say, other divisions have done, if they have a listing of who, first come, first serve, how it's set up.
Any other questions on this one?
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, now I think we're ready to go into the Zoom. Let me let him
Well, I see trash.
Yeah, I know, that's like a river.
Building here is just bizarre, right? So.
We can tell them we're here.
Yeah, I'm trying.
We're here.
Here, let me slide that in.
All right, Dr. Berry, I think we're ready.
Are we ready?
Yes,
Yep.
we're ready.
Good to see everyone. Thank you for having us. Dr. Bowder and Dr. Bednar with us this evening. And I know that we did send you and you did receive the stakeholder report. And we'd like to give a brief overview of that and then give you an overview of where we are in terms of the search process, answer any questions that you have. We really want to thank Tammy Holloway, the administrative assistant to the superintendent, who really helped with arranging for Dr. Louder and Dr. Bednar's visit on August 18th. So shout out to Tammy, thank you very much. We appreciate all the help that she gave us. And also want to compliment the board on going through this process in terms of the stakeholder report that we prepared for you. In addition to the in-person visit that Dr. Louder and Dr. Bednar conducted on the 18th, we had K-12 Insight Open Survey, and we held that survey open for 2 weeks. And we can review that as well with you very briefly, and we can appreciate all that went on and completed that survey. I also had the opportunity to meet and thank each of you for the session that we had in terms of our individual conversations regarding the district and the same kind of questions that were asked of stakeholder groups. And I want to assure you that the feedback that you gave me as a board is very congruent with what we learned through the stakeholder meeting process. So thank you for that. I did send out an invitation to the county supervisors, and one of the supervisors took me up on the meeting, Supervisor Vicki Cook, and I thank her for that. She was responsive to the questions that I asked her as well. And again, all fit very well and are congruent with what Dr. Benton and Dr. Ladder can share with you tonight in the brief executive summary. So we'll go off and I'll pass this on to Dr. Benton, and then he and Chris will fill you in.
Good evening, everyone. Obviously you've received the report, so I'll just focus on an overall summary of the first two questions. The first, as you know, is what makes Warren County a good place to work, live, and play. The context of the conversation with each of the focus groups was if you had to tell someone why they would want to come work here, live here, and play, obviously enjoy the amenities, how would you describe Warren County? Stakeholders praise consistently across all the groups the area's natural beauty, the outdoor recreation, and the proximity to Washington, D.C. There was a high level of pride that this is the place to be, but if you want to experience that for a moment or an event, you're close enough to go take advantage of something special that may happen in D.C., but they love where they live, and they love Warren County and its natural beauty. The community, the group talked about the community small town charm. Everybody knows each other. The safety and the welcoming atmosphere was repeatedly mentioned as you share in the notes. There is a strong sense of pride. I will tell you that while some comments came up about pay, it never came up in a way of bashing. It came up in reinforcing they are here because they love where they work and where they live. The generational ties you mentioned, building personal relationships that exist within both internal and external that exist, and a very unique blend of some urban but also rural experiences that are available, as well as cultural and historical significance were highlighted across the board by all the groups. The second question focused on what makes the school system a good place for staff and students, so really focusing on your employees and the students, the internal constituents, and they recognize the system as having a very supportive environment. Specifically also talked about its commitment to inclusivity, especially supportive of students with disabilities, and the strong involvement of the community. Particular programs that were highlighted was a career and technical education program, your center, dual enrollment, and non-educational opportunities cited as strengths. The staff and community, they say value the personalized approach that exists as they try to serve the individual students as much as possible within the resources that are available. They feel the district is a manageable size. It's big enough to be a district that's not looked upon as being too small, but also small enough to be still be personable and people can have relationships and manageable in size. It creates a lot of opportunities for collaboration between the schools. They're very, very proud of the number of alumni who return as teachers, and the staff's attitude and dedication towards our student success of being the focal point of what they want every day for their students. So that's kind of the overarching theme of things that were consistent between each group. There were some small nuances, but those are the things that were consistent, and I got the easy two. I'll let my colleague Chris take the latter two.
Yeah, and so, and good evening, everyone. Again, we appreciate you letting us have this opportunity. And again, we do want to say special thanks to Tammy, who was very helpful that day. They were great. She and the interim superintendent were both great to us the whole time and made it really easy. And we really enjoyed talking to your people. The question 3 is, what are the issues or what are the problems that the new superintendent needs to know? You know, kind of like what are the issues that surround our district? Every district has some that they need to work on. And, you know, very quickly in every group, from kind of clerical all the way to the highest positions we talked to, said, you know, the budget was really a major concern, that there was a tough relationship between the Board of Supervisors and the school board, and again, everyone was aware of that and felt like there were funding issues that surrounded that. It was brought up in every group that we talked to. And then kind of there was a part 2 to that, to say, because there are some struggles there and funding issues, then we believe that's why we're a district that pays little compared to the people around us, that we have some infrastructure problems like with facilities, with technology, and so there's just an overarching you know, funding issue that kind of plays its way through a lot of the district. And again, that came up in every group and over in different ways. That was really the overriding issue of the struggles that need to be worked on. I would also say there was a little bit of just, it kind of goes into the next question, which is what skills or qualities will the new superintendent need in order to be successful? There was a little bit of a, or not a little bit, a lot of an overlying theme of just saying that we really need a superintendent that is very personable with everyone, that speaks to, and again, I'm not throwing stones at all. I haven't met the former superintendent, but many groups just said it was not a person that was approachable, right? Like, we didn't necessarily, quote, talk to everyone. So again, I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that it came up with essentially every group. So really what came across was we need somebody who's very approachable. We need somebody who's a great communicator that can speak to, obviously, the Board of Supervisors and with both boards and help communicate, but also somebody who really wants to live in this community and be part of the community. Again, the perception was in the past that person was not somebody who was out at football games, out in community events. So there really was a need for an approachable person who's part of the community that we feel like, you know, is one of us and is out there fighting for us. So I would say those were the major themes. We obviously can answer questions or go into detail more if that's what, if anybody has a question, but those really came across in every stakeholder group, which is kind of the purpose of the activity, to make sure that we see it across all jobs and kind of all situations, and we certainly saw that.
Are you open
in
for?
relationship to the online survey, there were 144 respondents, and very similarly, they highlighted in terms of what are the great aspects of the community in the district, the community pride and support, the dedicated and caring educators, family and parental involvement, certainly the natural beauty and location in terms of the county, that it's a safe and supportive environment, and the student potential opportunities throughout the entire county. The issues that folks brought up in terms of consistent themes in the online survey were the following: that there needs to be some work on student behavior, bullying, and safety, funding and compensation, which was mentioned. There was a concern, or there's a theme, that those that completed the survey had a conversation about governance and leadership. They did, some community members cited micromanagement by the board, favoritism in hiring. Again, we're just reporting out what was said in the survey. We're not making any judgments on that. Instruction and student services, seems to be uneven academic standards. Certainly improvement in reading is needed. And there's some said that there's an over-reliance on technology and a lack of rigor. Staffing retention and morale is critical, and operation of facilities and communication. There's some overcrowding in some areas, inconsistent transportation services. Again, this is what was reported on the survey. Some of the other challenges were, of course, we mentioned the student behavior, but consistent with what Dr. Bedden and Dr. Bowder learned was the area of budget, funding, and resources, community culture and climate, sometimes being resistant to change, again, governance and leadership, instruction, academics and student support, and retention and morale. What are the qualities? Integrity, transparency, critical, communication, willing to be visible throughout the district, community and cultural awareness, having strong leadership and management skills, someone who is student-centered approach, and someone who's going to support the staff and support instruction. So this is what we have based our analysis in terms of the applicant pool, the conversations that we've had, the interview process to this point, and the candidates that we look very much forward to presenting to you next Wednesday evening as we complete our reference checking process and background checks formal, and asking candidates to complete a video and us putting together all the applicant packets. A summary of the process, there were 18 completed applications in the portal. Dr. Beckman, Dr. Bowder, and I interviewed 7 candidates and found that there are 4 candidates that we believe meet the criteria that you established as a board and are congruent with what your community is looking for in terms of your next superintendent. So that's a summary of where we're at, and we certainly encourage you to, now that we presented this, to post this stakeholder report on your district website. We'll post it on ours so that and we will share it with the candidates so that they understand all the issues and positives about Warren County, so that you can focus also your interviewing process on it as well.
Yeah, I'll just echo, excuse me, Dr. Perry. We did have a lot of people in the stakeholders ask if the stakeholder report would be made available, and we tried to say that, ultimately that was up to the board, but I think it will help you with your stakeholders, and it kind of is a compliment to you guys that you asked for that. So to put it out there for people to see quickly, I think they will respond very positively to that.
Yes. Questions?
For the people that you have down to 4, their availability, are they all available to come this year?
Yes.
Okay.
We explained to all the candidates that we spoke with what your goal was in terms of, and what Virginia law is, obviously.
Right.
In terms of your next superintendent, and they are all available.
Were there any aspects of this search that were seemingly unique to us, something that came up? Like, for example, you seems like you quickly dismissed 7 or 8 of these candidates, or 10 of them, or 11 of them, right? 11 of the 18 before interviewing the 7. Like, was there something glaring about them that's like there's no way they'd fit in, or was it something they said, or their availability?
Very often we find in our process that we will get some candidates that apply for every position. There are other candidates that, when we did some research on, that perhaps had separation agreements. There were other candidates that were simply not qualified. They were either at the teacher level, or they didn't have central office experience. They didn't have experience in similar districts like yours.
Okay.
I would add that we also really did want to profile against your characteristics. Because I did that and shared it with our team, and the candidates came out as strongly suited or partially or not very well suited. So we also grouped them in that that category, really crosswalking what they submitted with what the characteristics and profile that you asked for. So there was a middle group, but we focused, when you get to the 7, that was the people who had the strongest correlation to what you were asking for. And then that's who we talked to then whittle it down from there.
And then when you got to the 4, were you, the 3 of you, unanimous on picking these 4?
We will share them with you, and then it's up to you in terms of what.
No, I mean, like when you had 7 good ones, and then you chose to bring in 4. Were you? I mean, I don't know if you voted on it or whatever, however it got to. But
the 3 of us.
We were. The question is, I'm sorry. Yeah, we were unanimous.
Okay.
There was a deliberation and conversation about the all 7. To be quite honest, and then again, out of the 7, who had the strongest based on, you learn more about a person when you're talking to them. So that part was now drilling down and talking to them and digging deeper into to get understand the personality, profile, and experiences.
Great.
And then you sort of glazed over this, but I just wanted to clarify for the public the next steps. So you have the 4 candidates. You've sent them each 3 questions that they're going to do a video answer for. You're going to send that to our board to review information that you have on the candidates, and then we have a special meeting called for next Wednesday night, September 24th at 7 p.m., which will just be an executive session meeting where you all will present those candidates to us to discuss moving forward with interviews from there, correct?
Yes. You'll get 2 documents from us, one on Friday that will have the links to the videos, a Word document, and on Monday, you will get a full electronic packet for each of the 4 that will include our reference summary as well.
Ms. Salins, do you have a question?
I was going to ask him privately. No, I was just going to ask him privately.
Okay. Anybody else for these guys tonight? Okay. I think that's it for us this evening.
Great, thank you. So we look forward to next Wednesday, and if anything comes up with any questions, please contact me.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right. All right. Next up, could I get a motion to move into executive session, please?
This motion is made that this open public meeting of the Warren County School Board become a closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711. The school board desires to discuss the following matter in a closed meeting. Section 2.2-3711A1. Discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of employees of the school board, specifically the personnel report and the personnel report addendum.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Mr. Valentine, could you do a roll call, please?
Mrs. Lowe?
Aye.
Dr. Funk?
Aye.
Madam Chair?
Aye.
Mr. McFadden?
Aye.
Mrs. Salins?
Aye. Thank you. Could you please read us out of closed session?
According to the votes reported by the clerk, the school board of Warren County does hereby certify that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered by the school board.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Could you do roll call, Mr. Valentine?
Yes. Mrs. Salins?
Aye.
Mr. McFadden?
Aye.
Madam Chair?
Aye.
Dr. Funk?
Aye.
Mrs. Lowe?
Aye.
Is there a motion on the personnel report and personnel report addendum?
I move that the September 17th, 2025 personnel report and personnel report addendum be approved as presented.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no? Anything else this evening?